Mr. Mike Beard,
Yeah.
professional footballer, elite football coach.
Yeah, I'm a Millwall boy. Obviously, I scored a goal against Arsenal in the FA Cup. Exactly the same goal. Jason Van Bleur, 1-2 with Mark Kennedy, whipped it in. I come around the back of Winterburn and tapped it in the back post.
Poacher's finished from the right back.
If I'm not going to be treated the way I want to be treated here, another club's going to take me straight away and pay me.
That younger generation, like I say, just think they've made it. They're not respecting the work ethic, the culture to be able to make it as a pro.
They're giving too much too soon. I would do it. Brighton was brilliant, actually. They're one of the best academies. They do it performance-based. That fear factor had gone. You'd already seen it.
Yeah.
And the only thing you had to do was perform. But we was 2-0 down after 20 minutes. And then second half, come back 1-3-2. We used to send players up to Graham Potter, or Chris Hughton, first of all. And he said they're not ready. There's no desires, no hunger. So I had to increase the intensity in training, like to another level.
My coaching journey was from Mark, started a 15, 16-year-old helping you out.
All right, welcome back. Episode number 5 of Talking Tekkers. Got another guest on today, Mr. Mike Beard. Another famous face
All good.
in the area.
Indeed.
The wider area as well.
Yeah.
Professional footballer, elite football coach. So yeah, I guess we'll start off as we do with most of our guests. Where we'll start for you. Where'd you grow up?
I was born in London, in Roehampton. My first football club was actually when I was 4 years old. And my dad ran the team. We played for a team called Sutton Wanderers. And I was 4, but I was playing in the under-10 league. So
That's unbelievable, that.
Yeah.
That wouldn't happen now.
No, it wouldn't be allowed.
Yeah.
So, but it was no under-9s, 8s, 7s then.
So under 10 was the starting.
Under-10 was
That was the
under-10.
earliest team.
Yeah. And it was like a massive pitch. I think it was 9 aside as well then. So
Before it.
yeah, my little legs. I had big curly hair. But yeah, so I started at Sutton Wanderers, and then by the age of 8 got picked up by Wimbledon. And at the time, Wimbledon were in the old Premier League, First Division. And I was at Wimbledon from 8 to 14. Then we all come in for me. Signed schoolboys for 2 years. Signed 2-year scholar for Millwall. Got given my debut at 18 for Millwall. Against Watford, 1-4, by Mick McCarthy. And and then ended up playing for Millwall, Sheffield United, then to Southend, out to Spain, San Pedro, back to Kingstonians, to Stevenage, to AFC Wimbledon, St Albans, and then finished, my last actual club was AFC Wimbledon. And then I went into management.
Amazing.
So you're Millwall legend. Fans love you. Obviously, you support Millwall. Was you always supporting Millwall, or did that come from playing and signing for them?
Just where you're brought up, I was
Big family's a big Millwall contingency.
Big Millwall, but my dad was actually, even though we was all Millwall, he was actually a Cockney Red, a Man United fan. So from the age, I think my first ever Man United game was 9 months. But what happened was we go Man United most of the time, and then when we couldn't go to Man United, we'd go to Millwall. But when I signed for him at 14, I used to get tickets, obviously, for free as a schoolboy, and sort of like it become a drug, and ended up going there every week, home, away. And I think doing that really helped me understand what you had to give to be a Millwall footballer.
So what's that like?
Yeah.
You in your career being playing for the team.
Just off the stands to the pitch, yeah.
And like, even when I run on the pitch, Millwall got this song called Let 'Em Come, and I used to be singing it on the pitch warming up to start me up. And,
Get yourself going.
yeah, get yourself going. So yeah, and I remember we played Chelsea once at Stamford Bridge in the FA Cup, and someone went down injured, and I led the chants from. I was going to take a corner, I was leading the chants, and like the fans loved it. So yeah, I'm a Millwall boy. Obviously, I scored a goal against Arsenal in the FA Cup, which I've never bought a drink since. Never at Millwall. I've never had to pay for a ticket. So
We should have filmed a podcast up there then. We've done it at Boozer and got free drinks all evening.
Was it get Seaman, wasn't it? The goal?
Yeah. It's the not the Invincibles, but it's the back four of Winterburn, Adams,
Tony Adams and that.
Bowles, Keown, and Lee Dixon. And
Unbelievable.
So
Talk us through the goal. What was it? Amazing run.
No, I scored against Sheffield United on Saturday, exactly the same. I was a right back, but on Saturday v Sheffield United, I played right wing and I scored, got man of the match. So he kept the same team because he beat Sheffield United, and I started against Arsenal right wing. Exactly the same goal. Jason Van Bleur, 1-2 with Mark Kennedy, whipped it in. I come around the back of Winterburn and tapped it in the back post.
Poacher's finished from the right back.
Poacher's finish, yeah. Clever run.
Did you win the game?
2-0.
2-0.
Even better.
What was that? Was the second goal the first?
That was the first in 11 minutes, and then Mark Kennedy scored the second in the 90th minute.
Amazing. Then what did that put you through to?
So the fourth round, then we beat Chelsea. So we had 2 unbelievable games.
Yeah.
And both of them were draws at the Den, Millwall's ground. And then so we went to Highbury, Arsenal, beat them 2-0. And then 0-0 against Chelsea at Den. And then we beat them on penalties. So that's Stamford Bridge.
Unbelievable.
Did you take one?
I was next.
Was you?
Yeah.
Did you want to take one? Or was
No,
you?
yeah,
No.
So once the manager decides the first 5,
Yeah.
as you know.
So you didn't put your hand up? No.
Does the manager, do they ask who wants one and then he picks, or does he say, I want you to take one?
We had like Andy Roberts who takes them, Alex Ray. The worst one was Keith Stevens. He was our captain. He was called Rhino. So all he did was head, kick, punch people. Couldn't really kick a
I
ball.
was school footballer.
So he walked up and I'm like, oh, he's going to miss. And he smashed it top corner, the best penalty I've ever seen. So, but when it got to, if John Spencer would score for Chelsea, we looked at each other's, me, Ben Thatcher, Tony Whitter and one other player. 2 of the players had their boots off so they weren't taking. One was a goalkeeper, Casey Keller. And me and Ben Thatcher were arguing, and he was literally going to kill me, so I would have had to take it. So I was the happiest man in the world when he missed.
I don't think he would have been on the end of a Ben Thatcher tackle.
I was going to say, he loved the tackle.
Nah,
Ben
that's
Thatcher.
what I mean.
Well, you can tackle. I've seen you tackle as well.
Yeah. He was left footed, I was right footed, so we were both a little bit naughty.
Well, it was a fair.
Yeah.
So is that, what club are you at for the longest in your career? Millwall?
Millwall from the age of 14 to 20. Sheffield United for 3 years. Southend 4 years, but over 2 periods. So probably Southend.
Obviously, aside from Millwall, so obviously that's your first love. What do you reckon the next best club for you was in terms of your development? Or
I love Sheffield United for different reasons. One, I played with some of the best players there was in England at the time, like Ian Rush, Dean Saunders, Alan Kelly, Don Hutchison. Those all internationals. Paul McGrath, who's one of the best players I ever played with, unbelievable. So I was lucky to play in a massive club, Sheffield United, massive. And worked under some great managers, Dave Bassett, Howard Kendall, Nigel Spackman. It was brilliant. But the one I enjoyed, obviously, is Millwall, because that's my team. And then towards the end of my career, Stevenage, because it was an unbelievable team spirit. We just missed out on the playoffs. But I joined after 6 games and then lost all 6. When I turned up from Spain, played 52 games straight. We got to the first ever cup final at New Wembley.
I was going to say, you played in the first ever one at the New Wembley, didn't you?
Yeah, and that's like, as a kid, growing up, you want to be a footballer, 2, you want to play at Wembley and win it. And I was the first one, one of the first people I touched the ball first, so I wanted to make sure I took kick on. And secondly, I wanted to go up and win them. Yeah, up the steps and lift that cup is unbelievable.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, going up the steps as well, isn't it? And what was it like going to Wembley? Like before, did you get a coach there?
But you can't sleep like 2 days before, right?
It's quite a long drive, isn't it? Like under the stadium, I think. When you
go around. It was brilliant because the manager had been there twice before with another team,
right,
at the old Wembley, and he took us all the day before. Because what you don't want to do, no one had been to this New Wembley, so it's brand new, literally brand new. So we went the day before, parked up like you would, walked into the change rooms like you would.
Almost done like a dummy run.
Went out and they're still doing work to the stadium. It's that last minute.
Yeah.
The pitch was incredible. And then just when you walked out the doors, I remember coming out and then it's like, you're just blown away, like, wow, I can't wait to play them.
It's in the middle, isn't it? The doors are in the middle.
Yeah, doors in the middle, walk out.
Yeah.
And you walked out and we spent about half hour, 40 minutes, just studying it all. So the next day, that fear factor had gone. You'd already seen it. Yeah. And the only thing you had to do was perform. But we was 2-0 down after 20 minutes. And then second half, come back 1-3-2.
There you go, even better.
Unbelievable.
So what league was that in at the time?
It's the FA Trophy, so it's the conference, like national.
Yeah.
I think I probably came and saw a couple of your Stevenage games.
Yeah.
To be fair, when I was obviously best mates with Charlie, so I think obviously we followed Jeff round to Brighton and bits and pieces.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we must have come to a couple of your games back.
Well, we had 2 buses leave from Linfield because Sam was playing for Linfield Juniors and all the boys come, all the parents come. So at that game I needed 134 tickets just for the Wembley final.
Unbelievable.
Incredible, yeah.
I love those non-league days, kind of FA trophies and that one. It was a little Lampson, wasn't it, last year or the year before? They got up there.
Yeah, the FA Vars, yeah.
FA Vars, yeah.
But I think they have 65,000. It's incredible.
That's amazing, isn't it? And then obviously to look back at it now, moments like that, like you said, scoring against Arsenal in the FA Cup, playing the first ever final at the New Wembley.
Yeah.
When you look back at it now, it's like crazy
brilliant
that you've actually done that.
Yeah, so just want to be.
It's one of the pinnacles of football, isn't it?
Yeah. I think like them days, it wasn't about the money because the money wasn't there. Yeah. And I think a lot of the players these days, and I see the young kids who get too much too soon and then literally just fade away. I think it's heartbreaking because it shouldn't be about that. You just got to remember what you actually come in for it in the first place, and that's why I've got great memories. Didn't make millions of money, didn't make lots of money. It was about them creating memories, winning things. I was a winner, and even the Arsenal game now, they still show it on BT Sport. Yeah, in the FA Cup Classic. So to be part of that was incredible.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, obviously, we see a lot of kids and coach a lot of kids, as you do as well. For you as a player, when you were young in the academy, what do you think helped you push through? Because obviously the percentage of children that actually get through an academy and break into the first team is very, very low.
1%.
Yeah, so were you just lucky that you were super talented, or was it just down to real hard work and just absolute grafting?
Yeah, I mean, when I was 16, I was probably 9 stone wet through. It was tiny. So, but what I had was that desire to want to be the best. Like my dad was brilliant. He took me into my uncle in a boxing gym in Dulwich. I used to go boxing 2-3 times a week, box as an amateur. Yeah. That really helped me with confidence. And I say to anyone, like, kids so many parents are so pushy at trying to get them to be a footballer. Do other sports, and for me, boxing was a great release because, like, if you think about football non-stop 24/7, it absolutely ruins you.
And it's too much, isn't it? Especially at such a young age.
So do a difference. Well, even though it have to be boxing, it could be tennis, it could be paddle tennis, anything, swimming, but just do something else. So, but for me, it's my attitude and
it's probably discipline as well. Like you said with boxing, that discipline that's going to bring you controlled aggression, everything like that will help on a football pitch.
Between 16, I'll be going out running before I went to school. Off my own back, no one had to wake me up. Went out, go running twice a week, do training, boxing twice a week, football 3 times a week. Played for my team at the weekend.
I think we've lost a lot of that. Like parents are almost, unless they're going to a kind of organised football or a session or an academy session in the evening, it's those extra bits that, like you say, people want to do, or young adults, 15, 16, want to do off their own back. I think that's going to be the difference. And that not only like in fitness terms, but also kind of from a mental side. I think if a coach is looking at that, if you know that you've got a player that's going to off his own back get out in the morning when it's cold, when it's raining, and go and run, you're that's the type of people you want in your starting 11 when you're 2-0 down in an FA Trophy final.
Yeah, and I say that to kids now if I'm doing a 1-to-1. Like I did one about 2 weeks ago, 8 o'clock in the morning, and I said it was on Hickman's Lane, and there was no one else there, no one, not even people walking dog. And I said, you're doing something no one else is doing. They're either in bed or on their computers. So just take strength from that. Yeah. And I was lucky. I had a really supportive mum and dad, and even if I had a bad game, you know it. I hate seeing these parents where they get in the car with their kids and they absolutely batter them. And all you're doing is knocking enjoyment out of it. And I try to stress to parents. I've seen so many over the last couple of years. I've had to say to them, like, you're making give up football at the age of 13, 14. So just encourage your kids. Do it in a positive way. Like if I had a bad game and my dad would say to me, like, oh, well done today, son. He said, or, you know, that tackle you pulled out of, he said, just make sure you get there, make sure you win the ball, go do that. So we do it in a positive way. And I go, not like, why didn't you do this, why didn't you do that? And then they start crying. And I've had, like a couple of years ago, I won't say who it is, but I got someone into Brighton and there's under 10s and they was playing a game and they missed a shot, the kid, under 10. And he turned around to look at his dad, he shook his head and the dad walked off, the kid was started crying on the pitch. So the coach rang me that night and said to me, like, what's his dad like? I said, his dad's brilliant. Like, he's the kid's hero. And he said, well, he missed a shot today and he's gone walking off, the dad, and then he's just crying on the pitch. We can't have that. So you got to talk to dad. So I had to tell him, like, you are ruining your son by doing this. He like looks to you to your hero. If you missed it, just give him a cut. Next one. Do you know what I mean? And I think he has now. And now the kid's like just gone.
Exactly like you said, it takes enjoyment out of it. You're going to make him hate football and hate playing because it becomes a chore for him, and it's not.
Yeah,
you know, like a kid at a young age, it's raw. They play football because they love it.
Yeah, and we're seeing that. We're talking grassroots stage. We see that with 5, 6, 7-year-olds. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about Brian, person that's on trial. Their parents probably also caught up in the moment, thinking that if my son doesn't perform, the coach is gonna, not that you can excuse it, but you can kind of see where that's coming from. But on Linfield Common with a 6-year-old on a Sunday morning, and a kid falls over the ball, he's not looking. Like I say, we see it and we've heard it. Kids shouting or parents shouting at their kids, and you think, they don't even want to be here. You're kind of trying to force them to be here, or trying to make them something there that might not be. Just let them play the game and let them find their own level. And like I say, they've got to enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's
crazy.
Even
if I'm doing 1-to-1, some of the parents stand and watch, and like if I'm coaching them a certain drill or something, like it could be just working on their movement off of a pole or a mannequin to find the space, and then just for an end product they pass it into goal. So I'm not concentrating on shooting, but they can miss the target, and the parents go, no, make sure you're the target, do this and that. But I'll turn around and say, I'm not working on that, I'm working on their movement. We'll work on that in a minute. So just be patient, trust your coaches. Don't be screaming, because when they're playing their game, they're young anyway. You've got the coaches telling them what the team game plan is and what he wants from that player, and then the parent won't know that side. So the kids are like they don't know where they're
Well, that was it. I remember when I went down on trial with Brighton for a month, and it was strictly like, I remember them telling my parents, like, parents stand opposite side of the pitch behind the rope. Coaches stand this side, and you're allowed to clap and whatever, the occasional cheer, but you're not allowed to like shout things from across the pitch. It's literally coach's instructions. So as a player, you kind of had that freedom, and then your coach would give you, it was minimal instructions as well. A lot of it was done kind of before the game and at half time, but they'd let you play. And
you've got to let them make mistakes and make them, like, because they may do so. I had a player, I don't know if you know, Andy Moran. He's made his debut in the Premier League for Brighton. Irish kid, unbelievable player. And in his first year in the youth team, so how we worked, like we've got different coaches. I worked on out possession. The other coach worked on in possession. So when a team had the ball, the coach stepped up and he was watching that. And if it's out possession, so even when our team was in possession on the ball, I'd be focusing on the defenders, making sure they're set to defend.
Okay.
And it worked really well. But we had one player called Andy Moran, and he could pick, a bit like Foden, you know, them through balls or De Bruyne, and no one else could see.
Nice, yeah.
And when you, like, the coach at the time, he was, every time he get the ball, pass, go wide, do this, do that. And he was taking out that freedom he had. And all of a sudden, I go to him, I goes, I know you're in possession, but let him make the decision. Next thing, get the ball, he's looking that way, all the defenders shift, he'd do a little slide ball, boom, score a goal. And I said, see? Or he'd get the ball and he'd shoot from 30 yards, top corner. And like, I think we did. We scored about 2 goals after that. So I said, when they got it, correct. If they've done something wrong, I didn't say to him, should have passed wide, I've done this. But let them play first. Not commentate. Let them play. Let them make a mistake and then talk to them.
Do you see that a lot in coaching? Obviously, you've coached at the highest level and you've coached all day, every day. That's just your job. Do you see a lot of that now? You see people kind of trying to emulate your Peps and your Artetas, and they're getting animated on the pitch and they're trying to coach all these 5-6-year-olds through a game.
Yeah.
Whereas, I mean, we try and say to the parents and kind of our coaches, even at the levels that we teach at, even at the clubs, like, put whatever you need to out and give them positions and structure. But like you say, let them play, make their own mistakes.
And whatever you worked on in training, like, I don't know, even if they just train on a Saturday morning and then play on a Sunday, have a structure to your session on Saturday that's going to be towards the game the next day, and then maybe just coach that. Do you know what I mean? Don't just talk through the game. And I know sometimes emotionally, and I've done the same, like I'm going to sit back today, I'll say to the staff, I'm not going to stand up, and within 10 seconds something's gone wrong, and I'm like, So it's just keeping that control, because the more controlled you are on the sideline, the more controlled the boys will be on the pitch.
And what do you think the difference is? You've coached men, kind of young adults, 16 to 18-year-olds, and younger children. So what do you think the main difference is between, obviously, all of them?
I'm lucky enough to coach at all levels. So I took Sam's Linfield juniors team from the age of 9 up to 14, and he went to Brighton on the left. Then I've obviously done the youth teams and I've done my first team. So it's the same principles. It's the same. Always try to be supportive, always try to be positive, because you know yourself, if a coach is negative and he's on you constantly, then like you're not going to perform. You want your players to perform, and the only way they perform is by giving them confidence to play. And I mean, the only way I'd ever go at a player ever is lack of effort. That's the only way. If they've pulled out a tackle, they've not tracked back, they've been lazy doing something, that would be the only time I would have a go at them. Other than that, it's got to be constructive criticism. Don't just say, "Oh, Johnny, what are you doing? Don't do this." It's got to be, "Johnny, don't worry about that. Next time, give it wide." Or that try to play a sit to the forward. Do you know what I mean? Don't just scream and shout for the sake of it.
No, it makes sense. Do you feel like, going back to your academy days, and obviously now you work within academies, what's the main kind of difference between your upbringing and how you were coached? Were you coached all of this, going back to kind of your man management there? Do you think the teams almost all coach the same, all get punished, all get shouted at? Whereas now, do you think it's different and you've got to be a bit more of a man manager? You get your different kind of personalities in the squad, the different characters that you might want, you might need to put an arm around, one you can be a bit more...
Yeah, forward with. Yeah, when I was playing, I had a coach called Tom Woolley. He's the most successful youth team coach in history. He won the Youth Cup with Watford twice, produced John Barnes, David James, Kevin O'Callaghan, players like that, unbelievable. Glenn Roeder, and then he came to Millwall, and the production line he had there was incredible. He won the Youth Cup, won the Southern Junior Cup. We had the unbelievable youth team, and he produced about 9 players that went for millions. He ruled by tough love, but back then you had no strength and conditioning coaches. Like, nothing was timed. Like, I remember doing one-on-ones to teach me how to defend on a Friday for an hour and a half after training still with him, and other players. It's like constant one-on-ones. Maybe the best defender in the league. No one could get past me because of that. Now in academy levels and professional levels, you got it's all run by strength and conditioning coaches. It's all
GPS
to the minute.
track.
GPS. Take him out of session. So at times, I think there's so much more injuries now because players are not robust. Genuinely believe that.
They did a bit of that.
Which is a massive problem, isn't it? Like injuries now, young players. You see players like Jack Wilshere coming through. Yeah. His career's done, and he could have been an unbelievable player. Like it's happening loads at the moment, isn't it? Which obviously, if you're touching on that from that side of it, could be a factor. Yeah, I think you touched on it earlier as well about players getting too much too soon, like the youngsters now. Like we talk about like back in the day, players were made to like clean the first team's boots and stuff like that. And like now, it's like they're getting paid like $10,000 a week and crazy money like that.
I mean, even at Brighton, we're told by the FA Premier League education they're not allowed to clean boots and that, or clean the changing rooms because it's degrading. But I made them do it. Yeah, made them do it because. And if they did come in, like we'd have to tell the kids, like, don't tell them you do that, you know what I mean? Yeah. Or pick up the balls, or someone's in charge of the ball, because they need responsibility. What was ended up happening was, like, when they said you can't do it, the coaches were lugging balls in, balls out, moving goals. They trained and went back in. It's 17, 18, no jobs.
It's like keeping them grounded as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, I don't know, but I feel like you get some players now who they're in like the City Academy, or if they know they're a very, very good player. And it's almost like, if I'm not going to be treated the way I want to be treated here, another club's going to take me straight away and pay me good money as well. And they've sort of got power now, almost. Yeah. Whereas before it wasn't like that. It was, like I said, keeping them grounded.
And I think teams like Chelsea now, they used to spend millions on kids that never actually made it. And we know like a couple of them personally, but they're giving too much too soon. I would do it. Brighton was brilliant actually. They're one of the best academies. They do it performance based, so they're on lesser wage basic. Yeah. If they get in the first team constantly, they get a bigger bonus, and then after about 5 games, they rip that contract out, give them more. But they get rewarded, not giving it to them when they turn 17. So all of a sudden they're driving about in Mercedes and
exactly
top cars. So yeah,
I remember my work. I did my actual school work experience. I was 15. Do you remember up at Tooting? Yeah. I remember going back to what you said about the kit and equipment. Mark basically make me ask if I could kind of clean out the kit room. I think it was end of season, so I was in charge of kind of cleaning out the kit room, pumping up the balls, like putting bibs and washing and stuff like that. Helped out cleaning. I think I served sandwiches. I think you had a board meeting at one point. I was helping serve sandwiches. Like I say, it's 15, 16. You get a bit of a grounding. You're in and around kind of long league football, and you see what it takes. Even when I played down at Lewis, you see what it takes behind the scenes. Like, yes, these players turn up to training, everything's put out for them, bibs are out, kits washed, but who's the actual people that are doing it?
You see like people like the kit men, and I like Alex Ferguson. I remember watching his film, reading his books years ago, but I was like this anyway because my dad was like it, and speak to everyone. I used to get to know everyone. Kit men and get there like 5 o'clock in the morning, and then they come out 9 o'clock at night. Players don't realise that, and they're all the kit's ready for them. Just go and help them, bring your kit to him. You know what I mean? Say thank you.
You see it like in the that City did that Amazon documentary, didn't they? And you see like a change room, they were taking their socks and stuff off and chuck it on the floor, but then like
disgusting.
They make them go around and put it in the bin because it's like kit man's dragging it all around. All they got to do is put it in the thing so he can take it out.
We'd find them
just like little things like that.
If the shirt was inside out, they'd have squad numbers. We know. The only thing we couldn't is the socks, but then they'd all be fine for it. So.
Yeah. Same with my granddad. He was only Hassocks kit man, obviously local county league for years, but he used to, because obviously I played for him as well for a bit, so I used to bring the kit back sometimes to him to wash, and he'd like he'd give me the shirt number if it was inside out, and then we'd make sure that person was fine next week to lift their shirt. So everyone, all the boys had to, at the end of the game, shirts, shorts, socks, all the right way around. Because otherwise sometimes his mum gets caught up and you've got to wash the kit like 2-3 times.
That's respect in it as
well. That's it.
It's literally
I think that's respect. That word is kind of bounced around loads, but I think that's lost also.
Yeah.
A lot in football these days.
Yeah.
That younger generation, like I say, just think they've made it. They're not respecting the work ethic, the culture to be able to make it as a pro.
Yeah, but then as coaches, you've got to find ways of doing that. And we was really good at Brighton coming up different ways. Like when I come in as assistant with the 18s, I just thought the training days some of the days were wasted. Like the players, they used to play Saturdays, so Sunday would be a day off. Monday they'd come in and just be a little circle, 5-a-side, and they'd go in. I think, what a waste of a day. Yeah. So I turned it into individual position-specific training. Like if there's 3 or 4 coaches, you take defenders, I take midfielders, you take forwards, and they literally coach the player, but be technical, so it's really light. Tuesday would be about unit stuff. So I designed a schedule that was it was unheard of at the time, and Dan Ashworth took it on to Newcastle. I know he has.
Don't talk to Ben about Dan Ashworth. He's a bit salty.
He's Man United,
no, he's United,
But
no good.
But when we first took over assistant, I've been training small-sided games. Like one team be losing 5-0, and they'd just wouldn't care. So then there'd be runs for the losing team. I said, well, rather than like giving them runs and things like that. It's reward the actual winners. So I created a Nando's leaderboard.
Okay.
So it'd be so junior teams could even do this. So even if you've got 4 sessions in a month or 8 sessions, whatever it is, for every race they did in a warm up, like if a person won it or come second, you give them a point. If they're doing a possession game and they got the most passes in it, that person would get a point. And if they play small-sided games, they get a point. So every week we add it up, and at the end of the month, the winner would get like a £50 Nando voucher. Second would get 25, and third would get £15. So all of a sudden, the competitiveness went like that. Yeah. We used to send players up to Graham Potter or Chris Houghton first of all, and he said they're not ready. There's no desires, no hunger. So I had to increase the intensity in training like to another level. And we did that. And then when they used to go out there to Graham Potter, I used to love it. And all of a sudden, players were known the first team, left, right, and centre. Evan Ferguson, Adele Fire, Cam Pepignon. Like all that lot have come through, and Andy Moran, and done brilliant.
That's probably, you just mentioned him there, Evan Ferguson. That's probably one of your biggest names to kind of come through your kind of coaching system and from one of your teams to kind of make it.
Yeah, he's one of the most highly rated players.
Yeah.
He's not made it yet. He's obviously...
But the little buzz, didn't he, about a year ago, the buzz was around him. He scored a few goals, didn't he? Yeah. Came on for the first team. He scored like 4 or 5 in a row, didn't he? 4 games in a row.
Yeah, he scored loads, and he had a little injury.
And he went up with Ireland, then he got called up to the squad.
Yeah.
I don't think he played, did he? Or was injured? Or
Last camp, he just come on for 2 games. I spoke to him the other day. He come on for 15 minutes twice. So I still keep in touch with him. But he had a little injury, and when he come back, he found it a little bit harder to get back in again. And But I said to him, you're young, and it's how you manage your moments when you're not in the first team.
But that's really good from you as well. Like you say, you keep in touch with your players that you've kind of looked after.
All that, yeah.
Which is amazing. Again, I guess some coaches may or may not be like that these days. They might just think, he's made it, I've got my
job here.
Yeah, I've ticked another one off.
Or they message them when they've scored a goal or something.
Yeah,
keep in touch.
Post them on social media when they've scored a goal, but they're not there when they're struggling. Like you say, just come back from an injury and you're there for offer that bit of advice.
For you as well, with your coaching career, obviously you've done, like you said, youth teams, you've done real juniors, you've done academies, and then first teams as well. What would you prefer? What's your favourite part of it?
Well, at Brighton, I love that. It's an amazing place, and we had such a great group of staff. The best boss ever, John Morlin, they got rid of him, which was absolutely scandalous. He produced so many players. He literally run that academy, and so that was good. I love that. That's the best coaching time of life. I love Dorking Wanderers. That was an amazing time. I even love Stockport, even though I was only there 3-4 months. But just the players, I've gotten so well. I love the players, and I love my strength is being on the pitch with the players.
Yeah,
I just love that. So whether it's Linfield Juniors or whether it's Stockport in League Two, I just love coaching.
That's what we've both been coached by you at some point, and so just talk about definitely probably the best coach I think we've ever had, being on the pitch, like you said, actual coaching on the pitch with the players.
Yeah. And everyone knows that, like you say, you mentioned your name, you mentioned Beardy, and everyone knows who you are. Let's say you've been involved or affected their club or their lives in some sort of way, be it coaching their kids or helped out at, like you say, the grassroots level with Linfield. You've helped a lot, done some bits at Haven Teeth. I remember you bringing that kind of linking with QPR and bits and pieces like that.
Yeah.
You've helped me. Initially that's where I learned my coaching journey was from Mark, started a 15, 16-year-old helping you out in schools. I remember I used to finish school, run around the corners of Linfield and help you just kind of at your after school clubs. And now here we are, 10, 15 years later, and we're now running after school clubs.
Well, you can see, like from an early age, you just had the gift of doing that. So you're both good coaches. We had Adam Williams as well.
Adam Williams, he's now into music. Works for A-listers and
Tom Howes is in Miami.
So
no, but I've had disappointments as well. Like as Eastbourne manager, left Dorking, went there and had a disaster. Just like signing on players, didn't have probably the right structure around me, and it turned into a nightmare and actually made me not want to be in football for a bit. When I lost my job on January the 1st, and I've been out of football since. But what's given me the love back again is doing the grassroots stuff and doing the summer camps and doing the one-to-ones with kids on Hickman's Lane and Linfield Common.
Did you see yourself in those kids?
Huh?
Did you see little Mark back in the day as a 5-6-year-old?
They're just innocent, aren't they? And they just want to learn, and just coaching them right and putting on a session. I always ask their parents the night before, what do they want to work on, and then design a session, not just go out and do a random session, because need to know what they need to work on.
Yeah, and you get that. Obviously, it's not just one as well. They'll book you in for multiple weeks and multiple sessions, so you get that relationship with them. You can go to see games or whatever, and you can obviously spot kind of weaknesses from
Yeah. That's been the hard thing, not going to watch the games because they're literally everywhere. So there's different age groups.
So many children that you look after and you can't go and see everyone on a Sunday afternoon.
And trying to keep the family happy at home by being there.
Yeah, that's it. What we didn't cover much though, to be fair, is you spent a lot of time in Spain.
Yeah.
You went over there. Was that in terms of culture and characteristics, was that completely different? Obviously, different way of life.
Yeah, it changed me a lot because I was, as a footballer, I was really aggressive. Probably got 10, 15 bookings a year. Used to...
Or a month.
Yeah, get stuck in. And so when I went there, the first couple of games, like, you could smash someone, like, it's literally no warnings, nothing. It'd be yellows or reds. So
it's completely different, like, culture of football.
More tactile.
Yeah, more like the manager we had at first, Postigo, no pressing. So teams, they could be playing out for the back of the other team. I was bored.
Just ready to go.
So
what was the team you played for?
San Pedro. So the manager lost his job in, I think, January. And I become the coach, first team coach at the age of 29. And we had another coach as the head coach, and I brought Vinny Samways in with me to interpret. I could speak Spanish, but not enough to run it.
Enough to get you by in a bar or
and all the food. But we ended up getting them pressing really high. We won the first 4 games, like pressing like no one had ever seen it, like out there at the time. Like the play from the back, when you sit back normally, we go boom, boom, press. And the players loved it, and I really enjoyed it. And
what league was that in? What San Pedro?
It was Tercera, which is like you got La Liga, Segunda A, Segunda B, and then Tercera. So it's like League 2.
League 2.
Yeah. But I ain't got the following League 2 here. Like you get 10, 15.
What about facilities and stuff like that?
Unbelievable.
Were they?
Yeah. Closest club to Port Williams as well. So it's
okay.
literally across the road from boats and all that. So
yeah.
Great end of season 2 then.
yeah. But I run the academy as well.
Rubbed off, haven't you?
So my main job there, so I was playing for the first team. I was also running academy from ages 8 up to 16 for English speaking kids. We had 4 teams. And
it's like kind of expats that lived there.
Yeah, but it didn't have to be English. It could be, we had Dutch, I had German, I had American.
So it was like full season academies. It wasn't like a case of a holiday thing. It was
no. It was in the Spanish league.
Oh, in the Spanish league. Okay.
Yeah, that's incredible. Just the experience of coaching boys in the Spanish league and having to go to league meetings and not being able to speak Spanish and then speaking to other managers to filling out team sheets, because over there is so strict.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like here we just turn up, play and then go home. It's like literally proper strict. So it was an amazing experience.
And that for you, like you said there, you was first team coach at 29. Were you always, I'm going to go into coaching after I stopped playing? Was that?
Yeah. I think like my dad was head of, not head of the academy at Millwall, but he was the head of recruitment and different centres. So we had a centre in Sheen Lions, and produced players like Stephen Reed come through, had a great career. But at age of 18, when I was at Millwall first team player, I was on Thursday nights going coaching then.
Yeah.
So I got sort of back from there.
So like it was, your brother's now does Liverpool ladies, doesn't he? So obviously coaching, management runs in the family.
Yeah.
And we've done Chelsea, hasn't he? He's done West Ham.
Chelsea.
That's the USA, isn't it?
America, Boston Breakers, back to West Ham, then to Liverpool. Yeah.
Would you say you're kind of similar coaching styles?
Yeah, we're both passionate. I think he's a better manager than what I am. The way he handles the players, he's brilliant at that. I've probably got more coaching experience in terms of coaching hours because he's got other coaches around him now. So.
Yeah, so do you feel, especially I think these days you need that, like you say, the manager coach.
It's almost a different job, isn't it? Like the actual manager now is, quite a lot of them were like, they used to say Fergie he'd never go out on the training pitch.
Yeah, he said he never comes to training pitch.
That's what the coaches were there for.
Yeah,
and he wouldn't go to change rooms, would he? He wouldn't go to change rooms on the training pitch because he said he had his generals, his Neville, his Kings and stuff that would look after
inside. Yeah, no, that's important, and he's getting the right staff though. And I think you need a good coach. You need a coach that knows how the manager wants you to work.
Yeah.
So I'd love a chance, opportunity to work with my brother one time. Everyone said, why haven't you worked with him yet?
Would you transition into the women's game? Obviously you've been playing events, but you'd go.
I remember briefly, he managed Haywards Heath, didn't he? And you played.
Yeah.
Tim, my stepdad, was his assistant for a bit. Yeah. And I remember that was when, he managed the first team. You were like playing.
Yeah.
But like even then, you'd finished playing, but
I was
at that level, like you was head and shoulders above everyone else.
Yeah, Matty actually left that job for his first ladies job ever. He went to Chelsea
straight after that.
Yeah,
it's amazing to see how much the women's game's come on as well. I mean, we run girl specific sessions, football sessions on a Wednesday night, and that's gone from, we used to have a handful of kids. We started about 3-4 years ago, but I mean now we've got a full class and full register.
Especially after the World Cup, wasn't it? Like, it just went boom, like waiting list
and
straight
even
away.
like own classes, I'd say now kind of the split's definitely getting closer to 50-50 in girls and boys at a real younger age getting into multi-sport. So it's absolutely amazing. And people seeing what people like Matty are doing and success.
It's just exposure on telly. And I mean, how well the England team have done. And I mean, I did a camp at St Francis not so long ago, and we had 20 odd kids there, it was 12 girls. And asked them what their favourite player was, and it's Alessia Russo. I said I had Alessia from when she was 14, 15, 16. She was on Linfield Common with me, training. I don't know whether you trained. You might have trained with her.
I probably did,
We had 2 girls come, her and Megan Mackay, who went to Harvard scholarship.
Yeah.
And Alessia Russo was training on Linfield Common like 2 years in a row, just during the summer to keep fitness, but with all the boys. And she sent a message to them like, keep working on, do this, do that. But she's had a phenomenal career, and you could see from then she was going to be a top player.
Yeah.
That's probably the question we wanted to ask. Probably what's your, like you said there, you can kind of see from an early age to be a top player. Because we get this a lot of parents ask us, because I've been kind of in and out of the academy system when I was young, I didn't make it, but kind of saw snippets of it. What would be your advice, probably I think more to a parent, like kids will watch this and they kind of get your inspiration from your coaching sessions, but we struggle sometimes. I think we get asked by parents what kind of the advice is. Do we go? Because again, we got some children that will do 5 different academies 5 nights a week. Like they pushing them to this, won't train with this team, won't let them train with that, traveling their length and breadth of the country to try and get their kids kind of seen. What would be, again, from your experience now working in the academy system, came through it, what's kind of your best advice for young kids these days, and kind of
it's getting that balance right. Balance of pushing them, not forcing them into anything. Got to be positive with them, because they're kids at the end of the day, and not trying to live their dream for yourself, if you know what I mean. So I say to parents, like, let them do the coaching, as long as they've got good coaches and they're working hard. The most important thing is your attitude. They've got to work hard in every session like it's like a match. Same in a game, like you can see body language sometimes, and don't push the kids in terms of, I want to get him in this academy, that academy, I want to get him for this trial, that trial.
I think that's what we see a lot.
It will happen. It's like my Sam, for example, when we come back from Spain, obviously wanted to play good level football. I didn't know, I hadn't been in Sussex, I lived in London. So he went to Charlton first of all, and they liked him, but the distance was too far, so he couldn't come. Then I had to try and find a team. So under 10s at Linfield, he joined there, and they was incredible. I ended up taking over, and we ended up winning the Sussex Cup. We went to national tournaments. We won the league every year, the Sussex League, beating Eastbourne. But what ended up happening was I wasn't pushing him into Brighton or to Palace or anyone like that. Brighton come, and because he was doing well as a team, they started to come and watch him. And the other players like Sam and Chris Holman ended up going there. Louis Evans went to QPR. Another one went to Palace. We ended up from Linfield, little Linfield juniors, but it's because I never ever run up a scout, said, come watch this, come watch that. It will happen, people will find out about it.
We had this conversation before we start the pod. People watch, people like yourself. I mean, you go and watch a lot of football as well. You might be passing in the park and see someone or chat to someone. If you get a name, your ears prick up, and then over a couple of years, if you hear that name again, you might refer them on. Or
I see a goalkeeper the other day. I won't say his name, but he's under 11 now, and he did a session with me. I said, it's unbelievable. So I'm like, Owen Fisher at Brighton said, can you get his kid in? But just because I could see beyond of what he is now, because he's not the biggest, but technically he's brave, he talks, he's good with his feet, and that's everything Brighton look for in a keeper. So I rang him straight away, said, just get him in, have a look. And if it ain't right yet, then it's not right yet.
Yeah, so what do you think? Because I have this kind of pet peeve that parents are sending their kids to 4 or 5 different academies every week, pulling them out. That academy wasn't good enough, I'm going to send them to here. Or they're not giving them enough game time, I'm going to send them to here. Do you think they should stick with their kind of Sunday league, like I said, their Linfield juniors, and have fun alongside an academy? Do you think they should leave their Sunday league football and just focus on academy football?
No, I think they got to play something. They got to play matches. That's the be all and end all. You got to play matches, but they got to just be. If there are 5 academies, that's wrong. Stick them in one where there maybe 2 nights a week, and then one where their team has 3 sessions. Then get them to do something else or nothing. You know what I mean? So they do need rest as well. And just don't take the enjoyment out of it. You can't take the enjoyment because football, that's all you want to do. And you watch the kids. If they go to the park and no parents are watching, and the parents having a drink on a common or whatever, and the kids are playing, what are they doing? They're just playing. They're natural. They're just taking players.
That's what we used to do. We used to go down a local park near Northwood School. We grew up, and every night you just knew that 10, 15, 20 kids would just turn up with someone over, usually me, bring a ball, And you'd have, like you said, 8-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 12-year-olds.
They're the best sessions.
And
See Phil Foden, any of his interviews, Wayne Rooney, it isn't from him being coached, it's him from playing with his friends. And
just that street football, isn't it? And that
all
rawness of just...
All South American players as well.
Yeah.
And that's like we run our futsal sessions, and we encourage so many kids to go and do futsal sessions because the ball moves so much quicker. It's a bit more freedom about what you do
it's different. Yeah.
It's totally different and if you can find space on a futsal pitch, you can get half a yard of space on a futsal pitch, then come on a Sunday when you've got a bigger pitch and it's grass and the ball's slower and you'll be streets ahead of anyone else.
Well, Spain and Brazil do it, don't they? So they do it up to the age of 10.
Yeah.
So you see the technical ability they've got.
Yeah. Well, I work with again Spanish kids or kids from not English, especially Spanish speaking countries. They ball at the feet all the time. They're playing on the playground. They're playing on concrete, and they can move the ball quickly. Their technical abilities amazing. Yeah, so they might be the smaller side of things, and physically they may not be there or might not be the quickest, but they're quickest on the ball. Their decision making is just unbelievable. Yeah,
but again, you could take decision making out of the player because if you're a coach and you're screaming pass all the time or shoot or dribble, you're taking it out. Just let them make their own decisions and then correct it or coach them after that. You know, and that's my advice to coaches and parents.
No, I agree. I think that's something that we can obviously. I reckon we can do that better as well. Kind of passing that message on to parents and sometimes as well, trying to hammer it in and make them listen.
Yeah,
it's the hardest thing. You almost got to coach the parents to coach their own children.
Yeah, 100%. Just be positive.
Yeah.
I think it's covered a lot, to be fair.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
That's a great podcast. Well, I appreciate you coming down.
Yeah, thank you for coming on, mate.
Hopefully, Tekkers might be fusion again.
Collaboration at some point.
I know we're just filming it now, but this podcast doesn't come out until October, and you've just taken a new job, haven't you, Mark?
Yeah, Hull City PDP coach there. So it covers 18s and 21s. So I should start next week.
So we could be seeing.
Good luck with that.
More Mark with that. So good luck with that.
Boys coming off the conveyor belt.
We've had a couple of Brighton boys actually who I had in my youth team. Ryan Longman, they were the first team, and Stephen Alzati, really good player. He's just nice. So I've got 2 boys up there already. So
amazing.
I know someone up there. Yeah, they'll be good.
Bro,
perfect.
Thank
you for watching, everyone.
Cheers,
Tune
guys.
into our next episode, which will be
If you've got any questions or comments,
November.
As always, put them down below. Give Mark a shout. See you all soon.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.